Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 17 of 30 Inks 30 Days. This is the color that I'm writing with today. It's Colorverse Mariner 4 and it comes out of ink flight 31. So working our way right through. Let's see, we started yesterday, so we've got several more to go of the Colorverse inks. And before we start, I just wanted to show you, these are not the right colors, but this is what the bottles look like in case you're new to the brand. It comes with a 65 ml of the color that you're ordering. And then in this case of this one, it comes with a different color of the little 15 ml. Sometimes they come with the same color. When I ordered Gravity Wave, it had the same color of little mini bottle. So, let me see, I wrote it down here which color it comes with. Let's go on to our page. Okay, it is paired with Allen Hill's 84001, which is this one. It's a green. So just that way you can be aware as you're thinking about this. You'd get, if you ordered it, you'd get 65 ml of this dark blue, and then you'd get the little 15 bottle of the Allen Hill's green. So, and that's upcoming on day 22. So we'll be getting a review of that too, or a profile, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, here it is in my Serendipity with the broad Yo-Wo nib. It took somewhere between 30 and 40 seconds to dry. Let's see, the camera's making it look like a couple shades darker than it is. Here it is in the 1.5 millimeter Goulet stub, and it took about 25 seconds to dry there. So interesting how that was, but that's what happened in this particular experiment. So here it is in the Lamy Fine nib. Nice lot of saturation there, and I felt like this is one that holds up really well for a finer nib. And it really does. It kind of like sticks to the outside of the, there's not much left in there, but it does stick to the outside and everything. It's got a lot of saturation, so. Okay, my first impressions were nicely saturated. Seems to have a little bit of water resistance. Yeah, we'll look at that in just a second. Need to find out, how does pH level affect ink? What the bleep is surface tension? Okay, because I was reading in the information and discovered this whole bunch of stuff I don't understand. Ink Journal had written about the ink, and they said that it's made in South Korea. Each ink in season 5 is made with high purity raw materials with a carefully optimized pH level. I'll need to read that. I didn't have that much science in high school. This flight contains one each of the 5 main colors of the season. Okay. Somewhere else I read, the surface tension, maybe that has to do with the Mars and all that. I don't know. I'm just completely ignorant until I do more research, and I don't have the packaging from this, because Colorverse does include a lot of packaging and information about their inks. So I'm just working blind because these were just in the samples from Ink Journal. So anyway, there's not time to do that kind of research today, but I will. Now let's look at the water test, because that we can look at. This was the standard water test I do, which is in a bath, and the idea came from Brian at the pen thing. It's 20 minutes in fully submerged, you know, and this is Rhodia 90-gram paper. So we see more ink resistance here than we do in many inks. Like even yesterday, see how it like just got wishy-washy, but you couldn't really read it. You could still see some of the color. Well, Colorverse Map of Mars, which was yesterday, this pretty teal, it did get an A in the clean out, so that I wanted to tell you about that. Okay, and then we've got some more samples to look at here. So we'll put this one aside for a minute and go on to Rhodia. This is Rhodia 80-gram dot grid paper. Let's see where we're at. We're rolling down the road quickly here. Okay, here it is in my broad nib. Took about 30 seconds to dry. And then in the 1.5 stub, same thing, 30 seconds to dry, approximately. I can see just a slight smear there. Okay, but it's just a nice dark ink. Although it is coming across a couple shades darker on the camera, keep that in mind. But get a sample, and these are really easy to get samples of because they're out there everywhere right now. Oh, I forgot to mention that too, but we will. Here's in the fine nib, approximately 20 seconds to dry. I wasn't happy with it at 15. But again, it shows up really well. Even though, you know, that's such a drop in nib size, you could still read it really good. Oh, I just put a note to myself. I'm covered in this color with Fountain Pen Revolution Blue Black and Diamine Oxford Blue. I want to make sure I don't forget I have those bottles that need to be finished first. I put a pretty good hole in Oxford Blue, but okay, so as far as where you can get it, it's just widely available. So check all your favorite places. It does retail for the $36. You could probably find, you know, sales and stuff. So, but at that price, you'd be looking at 45 cents a mil, and not all of it would be this blue. Some of it would be that pretty green. So you would be sharing, you know, it'd be sharing the color there. Okay, and then next in the CVS Caliber notebook, which I shouldn't call it cheap, it's inexpensive though compared to Tomoe River and Rhodia. I think this notebook cost around $3, but not really, because I always go when CVS has a buy one get one half off. So I try to stock up when they do that. So here it is in the broad nib. It was taking quite a while to dry. 30 seconds it was not dry. 35 it seemed to be. And then in the stub nib, at 30 seconds, I was happy with it. It was dry. And then in the fine nib, okay, it looks okay in the fine nib, but the writing experience wasn't all that great in the fine nib on CVS Caliber. It felt dry on this paper, so, and I didn't have that at all on the other papers. Okay, let's start flipping over here to see any ghosting and shadowing. There's a little bit, but that's not going to bother you. Once you can definitely write on the back of here. And then on the Rhodia, same thing. You can definitely not worry about that. There's a little tiny bit of ghosting, no problems. Okay, get that out of the viewfinder. Okay, and then on Tomoe River paper, just the typical thing. May have gone on heavy there, so it's heavy ghosting, but I don't think that's any trouble at all. And that to me would be what you typically would see. So, okay, let's get the comparison panel here and take a look at what we've got. Let's see. We've got to find a way to see everything. Okay. Here's our ink of the day right in the middle. Mariner 4 by Colorverse. It had a number associated too. And again, I don't have all that packaging since I only got an ink sample. I don't really know what that refers to. But it is, to me, it's in the blue-black family. You know, I don't know. Diamine Oxford Blue just seems more navy to me. But then that's a personal thing too, how we perceive and look at color. I do have a bottle of Fountain Pen Revolution Blue Black, which was very economical. That's brighter by a little bit, but it sure looks good coming out of a nib. It's nice and dark coming out of a nib. So here's a J. Arbonne one that's really pretty too. Can't pronounce it, but there it is. Let's see. Kaveco Midnight Blue is one that I really like too. That's pretty. And we've got Pelikan Edelstein Tanzanite down here. It may not be the same, but it sure is pretty. And then here's Diamine Blue Black. Someone sent me a sample of this, so now I can compare it with these blue blacks, and that helps a lot. This middle portion here, it's looking kind of brighter than it looks to me with my eye. To me, that looks pretty darn navy, and it's just sort of distorting it a little bit. Rohr & Klinger Vert de Gris is another very pretty one, but the tone of the color does change a little, and you see a lot more of the brighter blue coming out of it. And then here's Tasha Ao Girl Blue Black. You know, I remember that coming out of the nib really dark too, so it's probably, this is just a basic, very basic glimpse at how the colors compare. So let's see, we just did one, and I thought maybe we'd want to see how it compared with the Straits Pen Honest Ink, literally the only serious color in the lineup. I was given the wrong name at first, and that's a lot, in my view, brighter and it has a different tone. But when you get it on Tomoe River paper there, I don't know if you noticed, but it almost looked the same. So I thought that was funny. Let's take a look. Yeah, and see how the two, this is literally the only serious color, and this is the Mariner 4. They start to look very similar on Tomoe River paper. So that can, you know, that's why I like to show a variety of papers, because I don't think it matters. We're going to have to look at a variety to get somewhere near. Here's Nemesine Pallades Blue Black. Okay, there's a lot in common with that. Why is this not on the panel? Who knows? Probably because I wanted to show how it compared with Oxford Blue and even this one here, but, you know, yeah, and it's different enough, but with your regular eyes, they look more similar than here, so that's frustrating. Okay, here's Birmingham Grandview Avenue Midnight Horizon. That's another one of those kind of blue-black inks. Kind of looks more like Tasha on the surface level. Oh, here's one, Aurora Blue Black. I love that ink. I've only had a sample of it, but I was really excited about that one. I love it. Performed really well for me because it had super flow, which I love. Okay, Diamine Twilight is like going to show you a huge contrast because it looks so different. Yeah, that's just way out of there. And then this is another dark ink that I love. Well, it's a blue, and it's more like Vert de Gris. See how it's similar to that. It's not as similar to Mariner 4. But for what this is worth, at least we get, you know, we begin to identify the ballpark a little bit better here. Okay, let's talk about what I thought about the ink. It's harder for me on an ink like this because I have I have two bottles that fall kind of in the category, especially that Fountain Pen Revolution. That is one that I'm using for note-taking almost non-stop. So we've got the Pen Thing ink swatch plot log that I'm still working with. And I had skipped a page accidentally, so I'm out of order here, but I've got the dates right. And I put a nice navy blue. Well, I probably would have said blue-black, but yeah, it's navy. It's nice and dark. And I guess I did record 45 mil. I'm going to start doing that. 45 cents per mil. And that's just at the retail level. That's not taking into account that a lot of us are waiting for the sales at Goulet and stuff. Saturation, I thought it was really well saturated. Nice and dark and saturated. The flow, I don't know why, but I was feeling it a little less than great, so I just gave it a 5. And then shading, I just wasn't seeing much shading that like we did yesterday. We saw shading yesterday, even here, everywhere I saw it. So I still think it's a shader, and it shades a little, but I kind of gave it a low mark, I guess. Dry time, good. Average, I guess. You know, to me, if it's average, it's somewhere in the middle. No sheen, halo, or shimmer that I could see, which makes me think we ought to just look at it on the 52 GSM Tomoe River paper real quick. Move all these distractions. Okay. Because I love doing this, so. It just splattered all over. But see, even where it's on heavy, you don't really see a sheen, but it is pretty. It went through a little because this is only 52, and that was quite the ink splatter. So bring this back over here. Okay, so it was tough. I almost couldn't rate this because I was trying to rate it objectively rather than whether or not I would purchase it. But I like the color, but there are comparable options much cheaper, and I have a bunch of ink in this category, so it was tough to like, well, but there's no sense giving it a low mark because of that. So I don't like it, and I almost didn't do it to try to give it an overall rating. And another pen friend had pointed out this probably would change on a daily basis, and it's true. And it would change with every different pen I put it into. But that's what this is all about, recording which pen and nib. And so you do have that opportunity to do that. You know, you're showing what it was in. So when you look back, if you just hated it in that pen, you still want to give it another chance. So I don't know. Overall, I guess a 7 maybe. So, and then I started fussing around with my stuff, or, you know, like, because I really liked the color. It was up there pretty high. The flow wasn't as high as what I have seen in some of the other inks that I like. and the price, well, you know, 45 cents per mil. Availability, it's really highly available, so there wouldn't be any worry about that, I don't think. It could be later on, but easy to clean. I'm predicting it will be. Shading was kind of low, and then I didn't yet overall give it the rating. So, I mean, I'm just grappling with all that. I haven't really ever done that before. I just give a whole bunch of opinions. Okay, so I thought maybe we would do the visual journal back in the visual journal, because there is a secondary way that I like to do it that I wanted to try for this ink, just to see how it did. So let's see here. And I've got this Caran d'Ache little water brush. This came in one of the ink flights. Let's see, and here's my pen on my other pen, and my paintbrush is all set. Okay, so we'll just try to see how this works. I really don't know what to think what this one's going to do. I don't have a prediction, because the chromatography was, it did have that semi-permanence there, that a little bit of permanence, so that made it interesting. Just see what happens. Oh, there's color coming out. That's cool. All right, let's get a little more generous with our ink here. Maybe we could get a flying octopus. Okay, I probably should have put something down. I didn't, so I'll put a blotter paper down. I hate to ruin that. Okay. Well, that's just less than stunning. Okay. Maybe we could draw in a little line. Because what I thought was I could come back in with that water brush and just kind of, not force it, help it along or something. Just see how that goes. Oh yeah, yeah. See that? It's flying up. That's interesting. I have no idea. I know I have the instructions on this brush somewhere, but they probably are in my old ink journals where they are. Okay, I think I'll try for detail before we lose all of the water up there. Oh yeah, we got a tree. Oh, it's quite a bit waterier over here, so it's acting weird. I managed to make a straight line. I do like that texture. Getting that texture again where the supposed trunk would be. It's looking purplish. That's weird. It keeps getting really dark outside, and then it turns around and the sun is so intense, it's like it doesn't know what it wants to do, but we've been told we're going to get it like a storm, you know. It's not happening yet. Okay. To have plenty of water there for once. Can you tell I'm in a mood? Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, that's, yeah, that helps. If you get enough there, kind of helps. I'm liking that area there. It's odd as heck, but it looks neat. And I don't know whether you could see that pinkish kind of weird color coming out, but it's not bad. It's kind of fun, actually. Yeah, how about we do some sort of reversal? You know, for a photographer, being able to somehow get like a mirror image in the water was always something I tried for, but and this, I don't know. Totally out of my league here. Oh, some of the best pictures ever are when you get that gorgeous, like, reflection on any kind of water. Okay, that's not even in proportion, but it's nobody will know because it's not art anyway. Oh, that's neat. And I'm just totally copying. Marilyn, I'm sorry, but I like what you're doing, so I'm just end up doing the same thing. That actually is pretty, I'm going to stop fussing with that side, and then we'll do what I used to do. I used to do what I think pen friend Margaret coined the petri dish here, where we just put water like in a some kind of like a circle. And then I just went wild with it because I like to see the reactions when it first hits the water. Oh, that's not disappointing. That is cool. Okay. This ink may be, you know, once it dries, it'll probably just look like a blob, but that was cool. It kind of exploded. I think it needs more water in order to do... Oops, I'm affecting that one over there too. Huh, well, since that first one, I hope you saw it because it's done now. Sometimes, like with Rome burning, it just completely keeps spreading out. So, you know, I'm always looking for that kind of reaction. Okay, done with the ink wastage here. Fun. Let's see how just a little dot here and there would do. Doesn't really spread out much. Probably could get little clumps of it. Little textures. Huh. It's just looking really dark. Okay, we'll let that dry, but I really like this side. I don't mind that at all. It looks like a storm or kind of a lot of rain kind of flashing by. Okay, so tomorrow we are really departing, even though we're staying with Colorverse. I'll be writing with this ink tomorrow, Dust Storm. Interesting. I'm still yet to find out whether this was some kind of error on my part or what the ink does. What I'll do is in the morning I'll do chromatography right away because I'd like to determine whether, you know, I already fouled up the sample somehow or my paintbrush was green, or I'm really, really interested in finding out, whatever the case may be. If it's ruined, it's ruined. So this will be for tomorrow. So I'm wondering, as I sit here, what you thought of this one and whether or not you already have like a navy or a blue-black. I wish I could show it just exactly right, but it's close, I guess. Close enough. What do you think of this one, and or do you already have a blue-black that you like? I seem to be just writing all the time with my Fountain Pen Revolution blue-black, so I'm happy with it. It flows out of my pen really well. It took care of problems I had in a Genhel X450 that I was about to give up on. So, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to go off and write a pen pal letter, and hope you're having a great 30 inks 30 days yourself. Bye for now.